Nines is one of the biggest and most influential artists from the UK. Most people will recognise him for his songs I See You Shining, NIC and Oh My. He has a very laid back style and mixes gritty narratives with smooth melodic flows. His lyrics touch on themes of hustle, struggle and ambition. He is well known for being a very good storyteller and is recognised as having the most authentic lyrics. He usually raps on beats that have a soulful vibe, but he also mixes this with the UK rap style, giving his songs a unique sound. In case you didn't know, me and my boy RQ produced the song Tony Soprano 3, which will be on Nines' next album, Quit While You're Ahead. Today I'm going to be breaking down a beat I made in a similar style of Line of Fire Part 6 in the Tony Soprano trilogy. For these beats it's very important to create high energy samples that have catchy melodies. So for this loop I started off by just dragging in a loop that I'd already made and decided I'd try and flip it. So what I did here is I added an EQ and cut out the lows just because there was a bass in there, and then I added the VST auto chroma, and what this does, I think it's a granular synthesizer, so it chops it up into tiny little pieces and pitches it up and just does all sorts of crazy stuff to it, and this is what it sounds like. It sounds a bit crazy, but what I did from there is I then pitched it up and added some halftime to it, and then I just pitched it up by one semitone, and this is the sound that I got. So for this next bit here, I chopped it and placed it at every third beat, and I also put it into Stretch Pro and move the format up. So what this is called format shifting, and it basically makes it sound like it's been pitched up when it hasn't. It just shifts the frequencies along. It's really good if you've got two clashing sounds, and then you can just format shift one of them up and it just sounds like it's been pitched up when it hasn't, and then it will stop them from clashing because the frequencies will be different. So this is what it sounds like with the first bit that I just done. So already this just makes it sound way better. For the effects on this, I added a chorus and just put it down to 50% mix level. I added a big reverb, the wet all the way up, with a 1.9 second decay time. I then boosted the highs quite a lot, and then I added a flux mini, which is just kickstart, and then I moved this down to 43% on the mix level, just so it gives it that sidechain effect compared to this. Just gives it a little bit of bounce. So for the main part of the melody here, I used this lead from Serum, which sounds a lot like a vocal. So on the preset already there was a lot of effects, the main one being delay. As you can hear it slowly fading out. Just kind of fills up the gaps a bit more and makes it sound a bit more ambient. So all I did here was cut out the lows, and then I dipped the highs a little bit because it was quite harsh. And then I added quite a big reverb as well with a 3 second decay time and the wet at 82%. The next thing I added was this sub bass. Long sub basses are really important for these beats and can completely change the vibe of the sample. It just depends on how you use them. So this is the pattern that I came up with. So as this sample is in C minor, I'll show you a couple other ways that you can make cool sub bass patterns for UK rap beats. So if we get rid of this for now, so if I start up at the root note C, you can then go down 5 semitones and put one here on the offbeat, and then another one just above it, a half step up. So patterns like this are quite common in other UK rap beats, and it's really good for a very dark and energetic sound. But I kind of wanted a bit more of a chill one, with not as much going on, as there's quite a bit going on in the melody. So I just had one note for every 2 bars, and then I put slide notes in here. So if you don't know how to do slide notes, if you just click a normal note in and then you double click on it, it will then come up with this thing here, and you just click on this button, which means to slide, and then the length of it will be how long it slides for. So I've done it pretty quick, because if you drag it out, it's between all the notes and sounds a bit weird. That ain't it. But when you make it shorter, it just sounds clean. So after that I added a pluck counter melody, and this is what it sounds like. So this counter melody is just really simple, and it just complements the lead and fills up some of the gaps that are left in there. So after that, I then added 2 more plucks. This one is just a really simple ambience in the background, and I've just gone on the root note and then pasted it up an octave as well. So it's something that you don't really notice when the whole thing's being played, but it just adds to the ambience in the background. The next pluck that I added could be used in the verse as a bit of a switch up from the main part, as it could get quite repetitive. So what I've done here is just started off with the C, and I've just gone up in the scale. So I've gone C, D, D sharp. So instead of going to the F, which you could also go to, I decided to go up 1 more to the G, as it just sounded better to me. And then I've literally just repeated that for 4 bars. And that's it for the melody. It is really super simple. These loops are really simple to make. So with the melody out the way, let's move on to the drums. So the drums on these kind of beats for 9s are usually super simple and given a lot of space for the artist. The first thing I started off with was just a 2-step hi-hat pattern. A little shortcut if you wanted to just do a 2-step hi-hat pattern. If you right click here on the sound, you can press fill each 2 steps, and that literally just gives you a 2-step hi-hat pattern. Saves you having to click it in and then copy and paste it over. So then next, I just added a couple hi-hat rolls. So I added one here. So this one here, I stayed on the normal quarter grid. So what I did for this one here is I just did a triplet roll, and then I just copied that pattern over. The next thing that I added is this snare, which hits on every 3rd beat and then hits on the off beats as well to give it a bit of a unique bounce. I then added this open hat, which plays once every 8 bars, and it only plays during the chorus, just to add a little bit of variation. Then lastly, I added this kick. I use the same kick in every single beat, and it's a drill kick from Ghostie's kit, and it just hits super hard. It's literally perfect for every beat. I've had a lot of people ask me how I mix my kick in these beats, and I don't, is the simple answer. I've got a classic clipper on the master, and then I literally just boost the kick by about 7%. So then just to switch it up a little bit, so as I was talking about earlier, I've got this melody for the hook, and then when the verse comes in, I've switched it over to this one. So just to make it even more clear that that's where the verse comes in, I've just cut out the kick for the first 2 bars. If I'd have just kept the kick in like this, it would just get a little bit too repetitive, and adding something little like this can just make the beat so much better, and could be the difference between someone using it and somebody not. So yeah, this is what it sounds like all together. But yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know what else you want me to make. Go and check out Tony Soprano 3 by 9s, which was produced by me and RQ. And yeah, thank you all for watching.
I had half a London, hey.